What if I told you that millions of people believe a specific sound frequency can heal depression, reduce anxiety, and even repair DNA? What if I also told you that the ancient wisdom behind this claim was actually invented by a conspiracy theorist in the 1980s? Today, we're diving deep into the 432 Hz phenomenon, one of the internet's most persistent pseudoscience myths. But here's the twist. While the healing frequency claims are complete nonsense, the real science behind why people believe in them is absolutely fascinating. I'm Erkin, and I spent weeks digging through peer-reviewed research, historical records, and psychological studies to bring you the truth. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your brain might be tricking you into feeling better when you listen to these frequencies, and why that's actually more interesting than any mystical explanation. We'll explore the psychology of belief, decode the real science of the placebo effect, and separate the facts from the fiction. So grab your critical thinking cap, because we're about to bust some myths. First, let's establish what we're actually talking about. The 432 Hz movement claims that this specific frequency is the universal healing frequency, supposedly used by ancient civilizations, naturally occurring in nature, and capable of healing everything from anxiety to cancer. According to its proponents, 432 Hz music can reduce stress, improve sleep, boost creativity, and even repair DNA damage. They claim it resonates with the Earth's natural frequency, aligns your chakras, and connects you to the universe. Sounds pretty amazing, right? Here's the problem. Almost none of this is historically accurate. The idea that ancient civilizations universally tune to 432 Hz is simply false. Archaeological evidence shows that tuning standards varied wildly across cultures and time periods. The modern 432 Hz movement actually traces back to conspiracy theories from the 1970s and 80s, particularly promoted by authors like Ananda Bosman, who claimed that the standard concert pitch of 440 Hz was part of a Nazi mind control plot. Yes, you heard that right, Nazis and mind control. But here's where it gets interesting from a psychological perspective. Despite the questionable origins, millions of people report genuine feelings of relaxation and well-being when listening to 432 Hz music. Are they all lying? Are they delusional? Or is something else going on? To understand why people believe in healing frequencies, we need to dive into some fascinating psychology, and I want to be clear, I'm not mocking anyone who's found comfort in these claims. The human brain is wired in ways that make these beliefs feel completely rational. First, there's something called confirmation bias. Once we believe something might work, our brain becomes a detective, collecting evidence that supports our belief while ignoring contradictory information. A 2018 study by Claassen and colleagues in the journal Psychophysiology found that people who expect a treatment to work show measurable changes in brain activity even before the treatment begins. Your expectation literally rewires your neural networks. Then there's the availability heuristic. We judge how likely something is based on how easily we can remember examples. If you've seen dozens of YouTube testimonials about 432 Hz healing, your brain interprets this as evidence that it must be common and therefore true. There's also pattern-seeking behavior. Humans are incredibly good at finding patterns, even when they don't exist. If you listen to 432 Hz music and later feel relaxed, your brain creates a causal connection, even if you would have felt relaxed anyway. But here's the really interesting part. These psychological processes aren't flaws, they're features. They've helped humans survive for thousands of years. The same pattern recognition that makes you see faces in clouds also helped your ancestors spot predators in bushes. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the placebo effect. And I want to blow your mind with how powerful and real this phenomenon actually is. The placebo effect isn't just imagining you feel better. Multiple neuroimaging studies have shown that placebo treatments create measurable changes in brain chemistry. A landmark 2001 study by Petrovic and colleagues used PET scans to show that placebo painkillers activate the same brain regions as real morphine. In 2014, Kaptchuk's team at Harvard published research showing that even when people know they're taking a placebo, called open-label placebos, they still experience significant symptom improvement. The conscious knowledge that it's fake doesn't eliminate the effect. Here's what's happening. Your brain has powerful built-in systems for pain relief, mood regulation, and stress management. Beliefs, expectations, and rituals can trigger these systems just as effectively as drugs in many cases. So when someone listens to 432 Hz of music expecting to feel calmer, several things happen simultaneously. Their parasympathetic nervous system activates, cortisol levels may drop, and endorphin production increases. The frequency itself isn't doing anything special, but the expectation and ritual are powerful triggers. This doesn't mean the relief isn't real, it absolutely is. A 2018 meta-analysis by Heuser and colleagues found that placebo effects in pain management can be as strong as many approved medications. The relief is genuine, but the mechanism isn't mystical. Okay, let's address the science that 432 Hz proponents often cite and separate the legitimate research from the wild extrapolations. It's true that sound can influence brainwave activity. This is called auditory driving, or brainwave entrainment. Research by Huang and Cheriton in 2008 showed that rhythmic auditory stimuli can synchronize neural oscillations in certain frequency ranges. But here's the crucial detail. This effect depends on rhythmic patterns and specific timing, not magical frequencies. A study by Will and Berg in 2007 found that entrainment works best with beats between 0.5 and 4 Hz. That's the rhythm of the beats, not the pitch of the music. The claim that 432 Hz specifically resonates with brain tissue is unsupported. Brain waves range from about 0.5 to 100 Hz, with most activity between 1 and 40 Hz. A 432 Hz tone is literally 10 times higher than the fastest brainwave frequency we know of. What actually affects your mental state in music is much more complex. Tempo, rhythm, harmonic progressions, cultural associations, and personal memories. A 2013 study by Koelsch found that music processing involves multiple brain networks simultaneously. Emotion, memory, motor, and language centers all working together. So yes, music can absolutely influence your mood and stress levels, but it's not because of specific frequencies having mystical properties. It's because music is one of the most sophisticated forms of neural stimulation we know of. The irony is that the real neuroscience of music is far more fascinating than any frequency healing myth. We're talking about synchronized neural networks, emotional memory consolidation, and cross-modal sensory integration. That's genuinely mind-blowing stuff. Alright, let's cut through the noise, pun intended, and lay out exactly what the evidence shows. Myth 432 Hz is an ancient universal tuning standard. Fact: archaeological evidence shows wildly varying tuning standards across cultures. The oldest known tuned instruments don't conform to any modern pitch standard. Myth 432 Hz resonates with Earth's natural frequency. Fact: Earth's Schumann resonance is about 7.83 Hz, not 432 Hz. That's off by a factor of 50. Myth 432 Hz has unique healing properties not found in other frequencies. Fact: no peer-reviewed studies have demonstrated frequency-specific healing effects that can't be explained by general music therapy mechanisms. Now, here's what the evidence does support. Listening to music you find pleasant can reduce stress hormones, lower blood pressure, and improve mood. This works whether it's tuned to 432 Hz, 440 Hz, or any other frequency. A 2020 systematic review by Witte and colleagues analyzed 75 studies of music therapy and found consistent benefits for anxiety, depression, and pain management. But these benefits occurred across all types of music. The specific tuning wasn't a factor. Here's the thing that 432 Hz proponents get right. Ritual and intention matter for well-being. If setting aside time to listen to specific music helps you relax and reflect, that's genuinely beneficial. The problem is attributing the benefits to mystical frequency properties rather than the psychological and social aspects of the practice. So if 432 Hz music makes you feel good, keep listening to it. Just understand that you're experiencing the power of expectation, ritual, and good old-fashioned music psychology, which is honestly more impressive than any mystical explanation. So what's the takeaway from all this research? The 432 Hz healing phenomenon is a perfect case study in how our brains work. We're pattern-seeking, meaning-making machines that can literally create physiological changes through belief and expectation. That's not a bug, it's an incredible feature of human consciousness. The placebo effect isn't about being gullible or weak-minded. It's about having a brain so sophisticated that your thoughts and beliefs can trigger real, measurable changes in your body chemistry. That's actually amazing. My advice? Embrace evidence-based practices that harness these psychological mechanisms. Meditation, music therapy, and mindfulness practices all have solid research support. Not because they involve mystical frequencies, but because they engage your brain's natural capacity for self-regulation. As we learn more about neuroscience and psychology, we're discovering that the boundary between mind and body is far blurrier than we thought. That's the real frontier, understanding how consciousness, expectation, and belief create measurable changes in our biology. What do you think? Have you experienced the placebo effect in your own life? Maybe with music, supplements, or other wellness practices? I'm genuinely curious about your experiences. Drop a comment below and let's discuss. If you found this deep dive helpful, hit that like button to help others find evidence-based content like this. And if you want more videos exploring the psychology behind popular beliefs, subscribe and ring that notification bell. Remember, Being skeptical doesn't mean being cynical. It means being curious enough to dig deeper than the surface claims. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video.